Hello, we will call this meeting to order at 6:34. Welcome to 2015 year with your student government. Glad you all can be here with us. Apologies, I'm a little bit sick right now. It's the winter break gift that keeps on giving. So, we'll now proceed with our order on the agenda of call to order. Senator Christian Arredondo. Present. Senator Reem Blake. Present. Senator Akeem Brown. Senator Fabian Escobedo.
Present.
Senator Ali Isles. Senator Jackie Jacoby.
Present.
Senator Colette King.
Present.
Senator Delaney Koenig. Excused. Senator Richard Lee.
Present.
Senator Carlton Nguyen.
Present.
Senator Priscilla Perez.
Present.
Senator Jason Ramirez.
Present.
Senator Herman Sanger.
Present.
Senator Summer Shaker.
Present.
Senator Sam Mouet.
Present.
President Pro Tempore Devin Plaza.
Present.
Personnel Director Ashley Hirano.
Present.
Marketing and Promotions Director Rabin Rathod.
Present.
Elections Director Stephanie Rose.
Present.
Outreach Director Jessica Arquivez.
Present.
Senate Secretary Adelia Chakri.
Present.
Parliamentarian Momo Hussein.
Present.
Vice President Campus Internal Affairs Fernando Echeverria.
Present.
Vice President of External Affairs Abraham Galvan.
Present.
Vice President of Finance Irish Shang.
Present.
President Nafi Karim.
Present.
And myself. Okay, moving on to Section C, approval of the agenda. There are copies in the front for those of you in the gallery who have not had a chance to look. Everyone else should have a copy in front of you. So at this time, I'm going to open up the floor for motions to approve or amend the agenda. Do I have a motion? Senator Reem Blake.
I move to approve the agenda.
All right, motion to approve by Reem Blake. Do I have a second?
I second.
Seconded by Senator Fabian Escobedo. All those in favor? All those opposed? And abstained. All right, by a vote of 14-0-0, this motion passes. Moving on to our next section, item D, approval of the Senate minutes. This is from our last meeting of fall quarter. I'm going to pass this around, beginning with my right. Simply look at it, make sure everything is factual in order, and then sign your name on the back. Thank you very much. Continuing on, before we move on with the rest of our meeting, we have an address from our president on his State of the Association. So at this time, I'm going to turn over the mic to him. President Nafi Karim, you have the floor.
Good evening, everyone. It's time that we finish what we all came here to do. This quarter is the start of our home stretch for what you will accomplish for this term. Either you take action now, or it'll be too late. We have a system of checks and balances, but really at the heart of it, you don't need me, the EVP, or anyone else to validate your cause. Think back to the time you spent campaigning tirelessly. Why did you do it? What was your motivation? What was your reason? Have you accomplished everything that you set out to do? If you have not, now is your chance. If you have, build on those successes and keep going. We are here to serve the students and give value not just to some, but to all students. This quarter, my office is looking into ways that ASUCR can make real public good available to all students. And again, not just a few students, all of UCR students. I encourage you all to think about the notion of public good and think about innovative ways where more students can directly see the benefits of their student government. Part of that is to actually reach out to our marketing team so they can have enough time to help you in getting your vision out there. I also encourage you all to really buy into Eventful and utilize it. Actually post your events on there, because before we can introduce it to the student body, we must buy in ourselves. Whether you have the chance before or realize the opportunity you have now, you can decide to make something of this opportunity and make a positive difference. You can do it. Whether or not anyone else recognizes it, you will know what you did. And that's the most important part. Will you be satisfied with the effort that you put in your term? Let's finish strong. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. Continuing on Section F of our agenda, we will hear from ex officios. If there are any in attendance, please, you may come up and simply state your name for our minutes purposes, and the floor is yours.
Hello everyone, my name is Stephanie Parker. I'm the current RHA Executive President, if you remember from last quarter. Cool, awesome. So my only bit of reporting for this week is we are actually in the process of electing a new building president for ANI. Our last one actually resigned recently, unfortunately, but we are in the process of electing a new one. The application is currently live right now and will be due this Friday, and the election is a week from today, next Wednesday. If you have any questions or anything, I'm currently serving as the AI building president for the time being, but we'll be electing one by next Wednesday. So that's all I have.
Great. Could you please remain behind one question? Outreach Director, Secretary.
Hi, sorry. When did I know you had, I don't know if you mentioned it now, but I know you mentioned it before. When are your general meetings?
For RHA Cabinet?
Yes.
Mondays at 9 p.m. in the Highland Hills Foxhole. Don't know what that is, it's under building stuff.
So Mondays at 9, you said?
Mhm.
Thank you so much.
Is there any other questions?
Great, thank you so much.
Mhm.
Were there any other ex officios that were in attendance?
Hello everyone, my name is Solve Haurigi. Just want to tell you all tomorrow is going to be an MLK march. We'll be meeting tomorrow at 12 p.m. and we're going to be marching to Park Avenue Baptist Church. It'll be in MLK at Boulevard. It's like right off Chicago, really nearby, and there'll be free t-shirts provided. And this is a ASP event, but CSP is heavily supporting. And shuttles will also be provided back to Lot 30. And as for CSP, we'll be having a lot of events throughout the quarter, and I'll be informing you all about those in the next meetings. And that'll be it. Any questions?
Outreach Director,
Sorry, can you just remind everyone when Raza Assembly meetings are?
Oh yeah, Raza Assembly meetings will be Tuesdays 9 to 10, and INTS 11:32. That'll be it.
Thank you.
Great, thank you. Are there any other ex officios that would like to speak? Okay. Seeing none, we will move on to Section G for public forum. For any members of the gallery that wish to address Senate on any new business, now is the time to come forward and to speak on your case. Simply state your name for our minutes purposes, and then the floor is yours. Okay. Moving on, we will have Section H, Committee Office Reports. We will begin subsection 1 with our Finance Committee. We'll bring up the Finance meeting minutes for everyone to review. And VP of Finance, Irish Shane, floor is yours.
Okay. Hi everyone, welcome back. Our finance hearings for this quarter are on Mondays from 2:15 to 4:30, so every Monday of this quarter. Also, I just want to announce that our budget activation accounts are now online, so students do not need to come in and make appointments. Instead, they can just go to ASUCR.ucr.edu, and there is a org funding tab. They can click on that, and we have our account activation PowerPoint, and then after you can take the account activation test and pass with at least 80% to activate your org's account. Okay, so on to the allocations. First, this will be from the finance hearing on December 8th, which was our last finance hearing of all quarter last year. So beginning with the Iranian Student Association, we have allocated 247. American Society of Mechanical Engineers allocated $90. Latino Union allocated $110. Korea Campus Crusade for Christ allocated $998. Prisoma, their budget was tabled. Rhythm and Brains allocated $825. Asterisk allocated $1,500. Physical Therapy Student Organization allocated $908. Unnatural Causes allocated $908. Animal Rescue at UCR was tabled. Karate Club was also tabled. Their budget needed more information. And the Queer People of Color allocated $908. HOSA allocated $750. Okay, and for this week's allocation, we started first. Our finance committee allocated, or we voted to transfer $50,000 from the organization reserves, because as you can see, our opening balance was a negative $2,259. For Future Dentist Club, their budget was tabled. They're an auto renewal club, so they did not show up, but they also did not ask for a 10%, so we just wanted to see if they wanted a 10% increase on their budget. For the Student Alumni Association, their numbers did not add up. For the Student Association of Latino Student Affairs, we allocated $998. Not So Sharp allocated $825. UTouch allocated $908. Change in Scientific Importance for Youth allocated $750. Okay. And then this one is from the hearing on December 8th from last quarter, and it is just an update on the travel policy. I think Michael sent out the policy. Do you guys have any questions on that? There wasn't any. Okay. There wasn't any like financial changes, but some of the most important updates were just trips less than 24 hours cannot reimburse meals. For all ASUCR conferences and travel, individual contracts shall be completed and must be completed. Travelers shall not be reimbursed for expenses paid on behalf of others. Travelers must be more than 40 miles from ASUCR office or home for overnight lodging pay. Drivers must agree to operate vehicles safely and follow traffic and driving laws, clarifying the there's clauses clarifying the 3 levels of consequences. And also UCOP reimbursements will be processed through ASUCR. Okay, and then also during this week's finance meeting, we have allocated $311 for the Associated Student Chancellors Committee, presented by Summer Schaefer, substitute for Ashley Brock. And that is all.
Senator Hermann.
I had a question on the travel and meeting proposed, the changes, but this doesn't necessarily pertain to the finance. So I was a little confused, but I'm still going to ask it now. Under section 7, under conferences and funding, we've crossed out letter E, and that says, inappropriate behavior at hotel, conference, or other general areas of event will not be tolerated. Those in violation will not be allowed to attend any ASUCR conferences for the remainder of the academic year. In addition, student will be referred to Student Judicial Affairs. I was wondering why that was crossed out.
Section 7 under what was it?
It's section 7, conferences funding, and it's letter E. And if you don't know, somebody that does can answer. Thank you.
It's up on the screen for the other lecture.
I'll get back to you on this one. Teresa edited this, so.
Senator Herman second, Senator King Brown.
Yeah, so then my next question is like, what was the process in editing these, and are we passing these along with the current finance committee report, or are we
There'll
passing?
be two separate motions.
Okay, so this is separate?
From the finance allocations, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Senator King Brown.
Yeah, I was sort of going to say the same thing. I have some concerns with the wording in particular. So I was saying when I noticed, looked at you, I was saying, is this something we're going to discuss with LRC when it's time for LRC? So that's what I was moving to do.
Well, the current bylaws state that this is something that would come from finance committee, and then like in the constitutional powers advocated for the legislative, you have final approval.
Right, so meaning the debate over the changes in the first place should be taken care of under LRC, is that correct?
No, it would come, the changes are first made in, if I'm not mistaken, first made in finance committee, approved from there, and then Senate has, and in total during public meeting, we have, there's final approval. It's only for legislative review committee.
Right, so what I'm actually saying is the actual time that we're allotting for the finance committee, aren't we gonna discuss the changes that was made in LRC?
So, from my understanding, from what I got from the pro staff, is these are like internal policies, office policies, so that's why they don't go to finance as opposed to others.
You ever have that one?
Yeah, at least from my understanding, this isn't a piece of legislation per se, so that's why it doesn't go through LRC. But I know that I can say my office is really the one that primarily deals with the travel policy, because I'm the one that travels at least every month. I'm the one that arranges all the conferences, events, and things like that. I wasn't necessarily consulted in the updates to this policy, but I have reviewed it and everything looks good to me. If you have any particular issues with any part of the policy, especially related to conferences, you can talk to me about it, and we can see if we should make updates later. But as far as I understand, the changes that are being proposed are reasonable, and they also reflect just our policy being in line with some new UCOP policies or whatnot that have been implemented. So, I mean, even if we don't put them on paper, that's what we're gonna have to do regardless. And even in that particular section that you're talking about, Herman, it seems like only the in addition students will be referred to student judicial affairs is what's being crossed out. I personally don't have a problem with that because I'd rather have the flexibility of being able to decide when I should send, if I should ever send students to judicial affairs, only because I know how troublesome that process can be. And right now, it kind of just leaves this ambiguous inappropriate behavior, whereas there's a really wide range of inappropriate behavior. And I'd rather have the ability to have more discretion in that, because otherwise it could be really problematic. And I don't want to be kind of boxed into that. I know that probably other EVPs wouldn't either. And that's, so I would recommend that you all just pass it right now, and if there's any big changes that need to be made, we can make them later. The wording looks fine also, so.
Senator Herman Singh and Senator King Brown.
Yeah, so I guess there's a misunderstanding. For some reason, the one that was emailed to me, all of section E was canceled, crossed out, so I now agree with you.
And my issue is on the very last line. Updates will then be submitted to the VP of Finance, so I would just move to amend the extra B after updates will be then be.
State that again for the next person, so you can cross that out.
I move to amend the extra B, that is, in the sentence that says updates will be then be submitted to the VP of Finance.
So the second B.
And then it would actually have to be rearranged to then be.
Or you could just go.
We'll
Or
finish.
remove the first B.
We'll remove the first B, keep the second. We'll just be done with one. Oh, he's in.
Presented after VP of Finance. Is that present?
I'm sorry.
I'll withdraw.
Okay. Well, at this time, if you wanted to make the motion.
Yeah, I move to pass all the allocations, including,
Let me choose separate.
okay.
So, motion to approve all budget allocations. Is there a second? Seconded by Senator Christian Arredondo. All those in favor? All those opposed? And abstain. All right, by 14-0-0, this motion passes. Second motion on the floor, guys.
I move to pass the travel policy.
Motion by VP of Finance Ira Shank to update the travel policy. Do I have a second? Seconded by Senator Christian Arredondo. All those in favor? All those opposed? And abstain. All right, by a vote of 14-0-0, this motion passes.
Mr. Chairman, point of clarification.
Yes.
In the Finance Committee report, some items state grant and some items don't say state grant. I'm wondering if the Vice President of Finance could provide clarification on what the difference is. So for example, the meeting from December 8th, items G and K state grant, whereas others do not.
So a grant is a allocation for organizations. It's different from a regular budget allocation. The ones that don't say grant, the allocations are for the organization's like yearly operations. But the grant is for usually like a one-time event that the organization wishes to hold. So it could be like a one-time culture show, one-time like competition that they hold. But it also has to be in align with the organization's services. So it's for a one-time event.
Okay. With that, we will continue on to subsection 2, hear from our Elections Committee. So at this point, I will yield the floor to our Elections Director, Stephanie Rose.
Hi everyone, I hope you all enjoyed your winter break. It's time already to begin discussing elections. So as you look up on the board, and then I can go ahead and read it, I don't believe it was sent out to you all. I don't know if Michael wants to do so at the time, but I'm going to be presenting the dates. They're tentative, but for the activities and events that will take place during winter and spring quarter. So I'm just going to go through them all. If you have any questions, go ahead and ask. So first of all, filing for candidacy begins on January 21st, 2015 at 8 a.m. That's next Wednesday. Filing for party affiliation begins January 21st, 2015 at 8 a.m. as well. The mandatory candidate workshops will be held between February 9th, 2015 to February 20th, 2015. I have not scheduled specific times, but it just requires that you all approve the weeks for me to schedule the workshops. And I won't necessarily be able to do so until I have an idea of how many candidates and which candidates are applying and their availability. Candidacy, party affiliation, and the referendum initiative paperwork is due February 27th, 2015 at 5 p.m. Campaigning will be from March 30th, 2015 to May 1st, 2015. And just so you know, that's week 1 through 5 of spring quarter. So there will be no campaigning at all during winter quarter. It's going to be a much shorter elections process. Candidates will be able to post election announcements on campus the Saturday prior to campaigning, March 28th at 10 a.m. Debates will be held on these dates and in this order. I changed it from last year, so it's going to go from senator to director to executive cabinet to presidential. And those will be held April 1st, April 8th, April 15th, and April 20th. And the hours and locations of the polling sites, so this is the week of the actual voting, will be from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Monday, April 27th 27th, 2015 through May 1st, 2015 near the bell tower, similar to last year. And the elections results will be announced the following Monday at noon near the bell tower. Are there any questions?
Senator Keene-Brown.
Thank you for the swift and much needed updates to the elections process. But secondly, I wanted to know, were you able to come to a decision on how the VP of Finance would be elected or appointed, or did you leave that alone?
I have come to a decision. This is just the approval of the dates. The election of VP of Finance is actually a constitutional amendment. And for anything for that to be changed, that actually will not be implemented this year. So what would happen is I will change it in the Constitution, and then that's on the ballot, and it has to be voted on. So that actually won't take place until next year.
Now, as is in our bylaws, the timeline does need approval from the Senate, so I'll allow our elections director to make the motion.
I would like to move for the approval of my 2015 general elections timeline.
Seconded by Senator Silva. All those in favor? And opposed? And abstained. All right, by motion of 14-0-0, this motion passes.
Will you be emailing that time?
Yes.
And one more thing, if I may. Additionally, thank you to all of the senators and members of PCAP who have sent in their feedback forms. I really appreciate them, and that's how I was able to come to a lot of the decisions for the elections this year. So thank you for turning those in.
Great, thank you, Senator. Moving on subsection 3, we have an update from our Vice President of Campus and General Affairs. So at this time, I will yield the floor.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for coming out to our first Senate meeting of the winter quarter. So I'm about to just give some quick updates of everything the office has accomplished since the fall quarter and things to look forward to come the winter. This will also provide some collaboration opportunities for Senate to also jump in. So first things first. So we completed the addition of the Transfer Non-Traditional Task Force. So far what they've completed, they've managed to accomplish is a new daycare services in coordination with our kids. So there will now be daycare services in the rec center starting in February. So if you're looking for a new job, you can go into the rec center, go to the front desk, ask for an application, and good luck to you. The next thing is the Transfer Commuter Lounge. The projected completion is still TBA. Hopefully Jim Sandoval can give an update, as well as Akeem Brown. The establishment of Transfer Appreciation Week will be coming in about 4 weeks. It's a little campaign that I've been working on with Student Life, so hopefully that will be coming soon. If any senators want to join, we can work together. So they also accomplished a partnership with the Honors Program to explain the application process to newly admitted transfer students. That happened at the end of fall quarter. So this is a kind of a pipeline in order to help transfer students get into the Honors Program, because they only have a year really to really become a part of it. They're also working on the creation of a brand new service-oriented organization committee. So what this is going to do is going to bring service organizations together to collaborate with one another in order to improve their fundraising and allocate more resources. So my Events and Affairs Committee, their updates are, along with the Freshman Fellows, they created a finals freshman event that was at the end of fall quarter last year. They're going to hold a resource fair on January 22nd. So for any senators that want to be part of that, what they're going to do is they're going to bring all the major departments here on campus, and in Hub 302 there's going to be a resource fair. So this is for everyone to come and really find out what's going on, what resources are available to you, as well as mental health. There's going to be some mental health things there, some self-care things. So it's going to be a very good little conference that's going to be held on the 22nd. So that's going to come up right away, so let me know if you want to be a part of it. So there's also going to be a mental health resource conference as well to be held in late February. That's going to be a couple workshops that we're hoping to bring in some outside help, as well as we're going to have some internal help from our health department. So we're going to see how this is all going to come together, but this is still in the planning phases, so I really ask senators to help with that. We'll also be having a game tournament coming in the first week of spring that's going to be working in conjunction with Latitude. So the diversity commissioners, so this is the diversity council, they're going to have an international student mixer on February 17th. That's also in planning phases. So senators, you can also jump on board on that. It's going to bring the international center, and it's going to mix them with our current students because we see a lack of interaction between the international students as well as our normal domestic students. So we want to make sure that everyone's collaborative and that we want to make sure that we give them a good time because they're also here to also experience our culture. We're also going to be working with the MESC, so that's Middle Eastern Student Center, to find a space more accommodating to the center's needs. Because right now the space they currently have is not adequate, so we're going to continue to work on finding better spaces. From my business development side, we are almost finished with the internship pipeline that will be completed at the end of this month. So what this is essentially, it's creating a pipeline with the Chamber of Commerce of Riverside to UCR. So we're going to be providing internships through the counselors of all the colleges, and this is going to be just a new opportunity for students to actually get jobs and hopefully stay in Riverside, as well as contribute to the local economy. The next thing that they're doing is they're forming community partnerships. So we're talking with all the local businesses, and we're collaborating to bring back the annual Downtown Festival for students and businesses. So this is going to be another event that we're going to just try to stretch and combine and bring back the student connection with Downtown Riverside. And that is something that they've already started, and it's looking pretty good. I think the fair will come back this year. Academic affairs, so at the end of this week, they will finish their mental health brochure. The mental health brochure will contain anything to help students, information, resources, tips, hotlines. Everything will be included in this brochure, and this will be distributed to the campus at large. We're also looking at the LIC requirements as well as a clicker program to be posted through ASUCR. That started last year, but we're hoping to finish it this year so that students no longer have to use clickers and they can just rent them out through AS. So GCAP will be having a water conservation campaign throughout this entire quarter in collaboration with CalPERG and Sustainable UCR. We will also be working with enforcing the plastic ban throughout our campus. That was passed last year and is enacted at the beginning of this month. So we're going to be working with different campus departments and how to phase out plastic ban use in order to become more sustainable. And then we also have a new committee structure that's going to be introduced to GCAP. And then just some things that we passed grants for. We're going to be working where you have MREG maintenance down. We're going to be creating a new portable MREG to be used by as many organizations as possible, as well as we passed more solar bench infrastructure improvements. So those things are going to be coming around. And we are also helping on establishing the food pantry and the farmers market. So those will be coming this quarter as well. So Internal Affairs Lobby Corps. So we've been working on the new gender studies requirements. So we're in about like phase 3. We're working with Summer Schaefer, the senator that's been in charge of it, and we've been seeing a lot of progress. We're working with the campus safety to establish best practices between students and police, especially after the advent of Ferguson. We're really working on how the interaction with students and police work, as well as we're also forcing UCPD to make sure that they evaluate the case study and implement best practices so that we can stay away and make sure that those types of events don't happen on our own campus. Communications, so we visited about 150 different organizations here on campus. We've been talking to them, we've been allocating resources, telling them what our best practices, letting them know what AS can do for them. And we're about halfway through, so we need another 150 organizations to go, but we're sure to finish them by the end of this quarter. And the next thing is Vengeful campaign that the ASUCR president already mentioned, but that's going to go in full throttle, especially since the Android app version is also released. So now anyone with a cell phone, with a smartphone pretty much, can actually have Vengeful on their cell phone. So that's going to improve the capacity of the app completely. And then lastly, Freshman Fellows. They created the finals event, and they are actually creating an ASUCR transition pamphlet. So pretty much for the newly elected office, there's an entire brochure that's been made by the Freshman Fellows that's going to tell you everything about ASUCR, what you need to know, what are the resources, what's the structure of the administration, in order to be able to phase out the old Senate and the new Senate. And it'll just be really helpful for senators to kind of get up to speed right away instead of figuring out things halfway through the quarter. Part 2 is my personal committee work. A lot of these, I sit on 12 different committees, so I want to make sure that I give updates on the most important ones at least. So Rec Governing Board, we approved new fee waivers for RASA and Black Rad. Traditionally, the Rec Center never waived that fee for those two groups. But this time, after a long conversation, we actually made it happen. We're very excited about that. We are investigating policy regarding intramural sports. So I don't remember if last year, when a student came up and asked, why do girls' goals count as 2 goals? So this is actually a countrywide policy that we're actually going against, and it seems that a lot of other universities are facing similar discussions. A lot of the girls are actually across the country are saying, why can't we just be equal with men by now? So we might be seeing a policy change in the intramural sports program. The tennis courts for the rec center will be completed by the beginning of February, and the entire project should come to a close by March. So that's for the rec center, the new SRC South. So we have approved acquisition for new gym equipment. So those of you that are gym rats, there's going to be more equipment available within the next month. So more bench presses, power lifts, everything is going to be approved. So also, just to give you an update on the numbers of people using the rec center, we've actually reached an all-time high. And the rec center is seeing a lot more use than it ever has, and we're seeing good numbers. So everyone's going out to the gym. That's not including New Year's resolution people. So it's doing pretty well. Hub board. So we've delayed, it seems that there's going to be an indefinite delay of Hub 2. So for those of you that wanted more space, we're going to have to see what happens in the master plan in order to see what's going to happen with the Hub 2. It's just campus safety. We've addressed lighting issues regarding the rec center construction traffic. So because of all the construction that's happening on that side, there's been lighting issues at night. Some students almost got into a couple accidents, so we've addressed the light issues. We've been at the university street construction is completely completed. If you have any comments or anything, we talked to the campus safety committee. We're also, the last thing we did, this is included in the internal affairs lobby course, we made sure that the police are trained for events such as Ferguson and UCPD. We'll probably likely have a little conference where where students can give feedback to UCPD and see what best practices are. Student technology fees. So Wi-Fi will receive a significant improvement over the next few years. We approved the installation of new ports, which will expand the capacity of the Wi-Fi. We're still requesting student input on what our technology fee should be used towards. So this is the fee that's actually a student service fee. So if you really have an idea for what to use the student service fee, what the student technology fee should be used for, give us your ideas. There's also going to be a possible extension of free printing services, which I proposed to the committee as well. University Neighborhood Association, so would like ASUCR to attend their monthly meetings if possible. Those are held on the first Thursdays of every month. So anyone here in Senate, they'd like updates from the university neighborhood, and they would like to establish better community partnerships. The University Working Group, which is regarding housing and the new housing policy, if you remember the permit issue and the zoning issue that we've had over the past year. The next meeting for that is January 29th at 5:30 p.m. And that's going to be finishing the drafting of the policy regarding housing. So all those of you that live in homes in the Riverside neighborhood, this policy will affect you directly. So make sure that you're aware of what's going on, what policies are going to be in place over the next year, because they want to get this voted through in the next 2 months. The boards committee. So this is the UC system statewide committee I sit on. So we're going to be increasing enrollment by 4,300 over the next few years. The new tuition plan projects that out of the 6,000 students who don't receive UC funding, which means your no FAFSA money, it's completely out of pocket, we're going to be able to fund about 2,000 more of those students. So those of you who don't get any funding might get more financial aid through the new tuition hike. The applications to UC have increased by 5% in the past year, so we had over 200,000 applications to the UC system as a whole. There's going to be a new focus on transfer pathways for the UC. So in the CC, which is the community college structure, they're going to be implementing a program that's going to it's going to be a system to help them get into the UC basically. And they're going to be working on that over the next year. And then the last thing is that we're seeing a lot of good numbers and that our graduation rates are increasing, as well as our total enrollment here at UCR is also increasing. And then my last and final note, I promise you, I think ASUCR needs to become more community oriented. One of the main things that I see in this office is that we're all very project oriented, we complete our projects and that's all we do. There's a real need for us to go out into our community, to go out to our organizations, to go out to our departments, and actually communicate with the student body. That's one of the things that we have not been doing as a whole, and I want to call myself out too, because I haven't done everything, but I also challenge you to also go out into those communities. Because being elected representatives, you can't say wholeheartedly that you represent those students without even going out to them and knowing what's going on and actually having conversations with them. So that's one of the things I really, really propose to the Senate, for you to start becoming more community-oriented and action-oriented here in your time at ASUCR. With that, thank you so much for your time.
Great, thank you, Fernando. Moving on, subsection 4, we will hear from our marketing committee. I'll turn it over now to Marketing Promotions Director, Reed Fowler.
Hey everyone, I hope you had a relaxing break and a great first week back. Basically, I'm going to be going over some of the open projects we have for the next upcoming weeks. So if any senators, community members, officers would like to collaborate, or if you remember something that you have planned, you can come talk to me about it. So starting with GCAP, we're actually going to be working with GCAP and CalPERC to help set up resources for their tabling. So we're looking for environmentally friendly vendors that can do printing on a large scale, like posters, get pop-up displays, stuff like that. Also, there was talks about a water station, so we're also looking to provide environmentally friendly cups, help out with hopefully senators that would like to table. Information on that will come as I get more information on that. The mental health pamphlet, I'm currently working with Bridget from Internal Affairs. We're consolidating all the mental health resources that the campus offers, information on how many free counseling sessions do you get, when do they reset, important phone numbers, things like that. And they should be compiled into a pamphlet by early next week to be sent for printing. So hopefully we can get those distributed to the campus community shortly. Also for the Ventful launch, we're going to be, for the Ventful launch and for the resource conference that Fernando spoke about, I have the tabling sign-up list right here. So I'm going to pass this around to Senate. The timings are from 12 to 2, with 15 minutes before and 15 minutes after for setup and breakdown. So if you are interested, the only thing is that for both of these tabling sessions, we're going to be doing a short information session before Senate meeting next Wednesday for about 15 or 20 minutes that anyone that signs up for either of these events would attend. And the reason we're doing this is just because we want to make sure that the people putting on the events can effectively communicate all the information they'd like all the senators tabling to know, or officers, just so we're on the same page and we know how to approach and communicate with the student body. For the Ventful launch, the marketing committee is also going to be targeting Costello Hall and all the ethnic and gender programs, because usually they have a lot of events through the quarter, and we feel like they'd be a great addition to signing up on Ventful, and in exchange we're going to be working out on some incentives for them as well. So that's what I'll be working on. The MLK March is tomorrow. We found out, well, the committee found out about it today, so what we can do in the meantime is just help push it on social media, and hopefully we will also do another reminder on social media tomorrow morning, just so people can attend, go out and do the rides, and we will try taking photography footage of the event as well. Next, Senator Summer attended our marketing committee meeting and spoke to us about the event she's spearheading, the Women Empowerment Week. So we're definitely going to be heavily involved in that. There's going to be a few videos we're making. There's different daily events that we're going over, and I'm sure she's going to speak about it at a later date. But there's a whole lot of events planned for that, so just be on the lookout. It's going to be really great. Next, for Senator Jason and a couple other senators, they spoke about Project Downtown Riverside last quarter. So we're going to be making a Facebook page for that, and basically these are going to be resources, different tips, different places to go to in downtown, Riverside specifically, to push more students to that area, because a lot of times students just stick around the campus area and we want to kind of get them out and explore Riverside. So something I'll be doing for that is compiling a best of list, and I'll start with at least the ASUCR office, and hopefully we can release it on Facebook as well, and just get student input on what are your favorite places to go to in downtown Riverside, where you like to eat, if you have any cool hidden gems, place you like to go and relax. we definitely want input for that. And for Project DTR, we're going to be making cover photos, profile photos, just getting a brand image going so students begin to recognize it. Next, for the UCR Leadership Conference Resource Fair, Senator Ream came to speak to me about that, and ASUCR is going to be tabling. This is in collaboration with Student Life. So I believe, as you all know, that's going to be on January 31st from 12 to 1 at Hub 302. So we're going to be making sure that there's promotional items. We're going to have our prize wheel set up there, making sure we have our table, our contact information there. And just, once again, if anyone does want to sign up for this, please come speak to myself or Senator Ream about it. I know we could and Senator Delaney, and we can definitely use some more signage for that. Next, the Audit Club Speedway contacted ASUCR, and they host race circuits. And what they like to do is at least once a year or so, they like to come onto campus and sell discounted tickets or offer discounted tickets to the student body for races. And I'm going to be working with them to come in early February. I believe there was talks about they also bring a real NASCAR to check out. So I don't know how that's going to work out, but I think that's a really cool idea. I think in conjunction with this, if we also table and pitch any relevant events we have going on at that same time, that would be really cool. So just be on the lookout for dates as that becomes finalized. Next, Senator Jackie and Senator Christian came to the committee meeting to talk about the Meet the Senate event. And we kind of talked about when best to do that. The event for that will be finalized by this weekend. So you should expect a Facebook event page also over the weekend. So just please, be on the lookout for that. Please invite all your friends, get the word out. And one thing we were planning to do is also do ask the student body what they'd like to see at UCR, and that's just their overall goals for campus, but we'll also be focusing on things ASUCR covers. We're gonna try getting the big topics that people generally like to talk about in the past, and making sure that everyone that goes to the event has the proper information so they can communicate with the student body and give them relevant answers. Next, just general marketing things. We've ordered a bunch of promotional items today for the upcoming events for the quarter because we kind of ran out from last quarter. So we're going to have pens, lead pencils, lanyards, sunglasses, and we're also able to order more things as specific events come up if we want to make it thematic. I'm going to be emailing everyone about press releases, but I'm going to talk to EVP Michael first. I think it would be a really good idea for every quarter for all the elected officials to kind of just briefly recap some of the progress that they've done, some of their achievements. I know we always talk about it at Senate meeting, but unfortunately those might not be as accessible to the student body, so just having a little blurb every quarter might be really beneficial for students to know what's going on. I know last quarter we spoke about senator tabling, or the entire ASUCR tabling actually, I should say. And as you may have noticed, it was canceled quite often last quarter, and the big problem with that was that we didn't have things to table about. So there was really no point in having a table set up. And I think a big problem from that comes from really delayed communication within the office. Usually there's not enough time to set up for tabling, or there's not enough time to get members and prepare resources to have during tabling. So I really urge everyone, because I know there's some wonderful office projects and senator projects going on, please come talk to me. As you can tell, there were plenty of senators today at today's marketing committee meeting, and it's really beneficial because we get to bounce back ideas and we get to come up with a good timeline where we can actually accomplish a lot of things and make sure that our events are really polished and professional. So once again, marketing committee meetings are Wednesdays from noon to 1, but that's not all. I mean, you can email me at any time and I'd be more than happy to meet with you outside of these committee meetings and discuss future events. As far as the picnic blanket idea goes that I talked about last quarter, where we would have these weather-resistant picnic blankets that fold up real nice, and just have them at the hub for students to check out for free, kind of like they do with the laptop chargers. This is because a lot of times the tables at the hub fill up, so it'd be nice for students to kind of check out a picnic blanket and lay down in Pierce Lawn outside the library, things like that. Hub is on board with it. They have the space and they have the capacity to do the checkouts for us. But the only thing we're still working on is they want us to have a laundry service that could at least clean these blankets once a month or something like that. And we're having trouble right now finding a laundry service that already comes to UCR that does it, because the service that the hub uses, unfortunately, they don't clean things that you didn't buy from them, and that particular company doesn't sell picnic blankets like the ones we need. So currently we're trying to find out, for example, what the rec center uses for their laundry or what dining uses it. So we're trying to ask around different departments and see if we can find a service so we can get these picnic blankets ordered. Also, we have a diversity mixer coming up. So for that, I believe Fernando already spoke about it, we're going to be designing the flyers and printing out little postcards. And yeah, I think that's all. Like I said, if you have any events coming up, even if it's not fully planned, just please come talk to me as soon as possible so we can start getting timelines for every event. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Ricky. And just to motion, repeat what you said about the quarterly releases. They've actually already been started to put up on the website, so if you take a look at it, you'll probably be able to find them there. But speaking of which, there are senators on here, I won't name any names, but still you have to submit them, so they'll do that soon. I'll follow you up individually, so make sure that the students are informed of what we're doing.
Was that for officers as well?
Just for Senate that I requested in front.
If you don't mind, I'd like to do them for all elected officials. So I would be happy to submit one and then.
Excellent idea. Okay. Moving on. I'm sorry,
yeah, I just also wanted to mention that the Women's Empowerment Week is going to be it's a collaboration between me, Reem, and Devin. So I just wanted to clarify that.
I don't know if y'all wanted to collab with Chicano Student Programs. I know we have Semana de la Mujer, which is the Week of the Woman. So we have a week-long event. The dates are set. We've had a committee, or I mentioned it before. There's a committee. They meet. Actually, I wrote this link right here. Semana de la Mujer. They meet Thursdays at 2 p.m. And their whole week-long event is from March 2nd to March 6th. So maybe you can collab with them. Theirs is regarding Chicano women, but the different workshops involve, I know they have some for Native American, Asian, Pacific Islander, and certain just different workshops, but I don't know if you wanted to attend the committee meeting or just speak to me about maybe collabing with that week as well. Great, thanks.
So I also give credit where credit is due. Colette and Jessica also helped me immensely. So.
Awesome. Moving on, subsection 5, our Legislative Review Committee. At this time, I'll yield to our President Pro Tem report.
Hi everyone, I'm glad to see you all again. So tonight we'll be just discussing the President Pro Tempore and LRC bylaws. I want to point out a few things. Lori and the other pro staff members and Nafi made some changes over winter break, and in our meetings on Monday, LRC and I made a couple more changes just because it pertained to the work that we did. So under section 3, subsection G, we decided to change it to President Pro Tempore shall submit all new and updated legislation to Senate 48 hours prior to its vote. Currently it's 1 week in advance, but since our meetings are on Mondays and we were hoping that kind of setting LRC as Monday and seeing as usually Senate meetings are on Wednesdays, I will just send out the legislation right after, and upon the chair's approval, we wanted to do a required reading study hour at 6 p.m. I've had a lot of feedback from various senators that said they did want to do like a half hour at 6 p.m. Come in, we all read and discuss any questions and things, because LRC has a 48-hour reading period anyway. As of this quarter, I'm sending out legislation Friday night. They have until Monday to read the legislation. So this is sufficient enough time for them to get that done beforehand. So if I send out legislation on Monday, the rest of the senators should be able to read it along with the study hour 30 minutes before, because generally, from what I've noticed, senators are able to come in before 6:30, around 6, up until the meeting. And we feel that this would be very beneficial just because a week often leaves a lot of time to procrastinate and kind of pushes things back a lot further. But seeing as last quarter LRC was very busy and had a lot going on, I think 48 hours would be sufficient and would keep us efficient in staying on top of all the legislation that comes through. But if there are, I just kind of wanted to spark a discussion about it, so if anyone has any comments or concerns with the 48 hours, feel free to.
I have a question. Will we be able to extend it if we needed more time for that?
Yeah, of course. So if anyone feels they're uncomfortable to vote on anything, you can of course make a motion to table it until further the week after. And then
one more thing to add, to just expand on that. Yeah, I think it would, if we come and we have not read, yeah, I don't have enough time, but then again, that would also say that you were not concerned with reading in the first place. 48 hours is enough time. That's just it. We shouldn't make any excuses. 48 hours is enough time to go over legislation. And I also support the change. Most of the senators are in LRC anyway, so that's the majority of the vote right there in LRC. So that would just be up to 5 or 6 more senators to then review it in 48 hours. And if you cannot do that, then we probably need to reconsider why you're here on this horseshoe.
Senator Harvard Singer.
Yeah, my only question was that it says, that the President Pro Tempore would submit the legislation to Senate. So are you going to, or are we going to get it from the EVP? And then the second question would be, is there going to be 48 hours before we receive it and we vote, because that's not how it's been this past quarter?
yeah, things have been a little flat this past quarter. It was trial and error, but this quarter, if it's all right with Michael, I'll just send it out. LRCs from 3:10 to 4:30. I'll have the legislation ready by 5 p.m. and then I'll send it out to the rest of Senate for you all to read. The study hour would be at 6 p.m., so that is 48 hours until Senate meeting. And then, depending on how long it goes, then you would vote on it during the meeting. But again, because the current bylaws say that we have a week in advance, we'll be voting on this next week. This is just up for discussion right now.
Okay. Were there any more comments, questions, concerns?
And just again, LRC meetings are Mondays, 3:10 to 4:30 in the Senate chambers. If you have any legislation you do want to submit, email it to ASUCR.protempore@ucr.edu. Email me if you have any questions about anything else. I'm always willing to meet. And feel free to come to our meetings. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Debbie. Okay, moving on to section I, we have a collaboration item from Senator Akeem Brown. And so, without further ado, I can turn the floor over to you to begin your collaboration.
Right, Mr. Chairman, before we go into section I would like to move to bring from the table the bill that was tabled at the last Senate meeting for debate and discussion.
Before that happens, have you submitted it through Finance and LRC?
Well, here's the thing, Mr. Chairman. We tabled it for good reasons. And I have since went back over and amended. What I would like to do now is discuss it based on the intent in the beginning, to iron out any other questions or concerns with the bill. I don't know if you all read the email that I sent to everybody else last night. It seems to be a few more questions, so at this moment, I would like to bring the previous bill back up and debate. And if there is a vote, I'm not calling for a vote, but I do want to have discussion.
Discussion is perfectly fine. At this time, since it hasn't, as I understand, Devin, it hasn't gone through LRC. Again.
Not again.
Okay. So it's perfectly fine to bring it up for discussion, to be able to hammer out those questions, like you said, and then to go through the process afterward. Okay.
No, I have a second.
Well, point of clarification.
Yes. Go ahead.
you mentioned an email that you sent out yesterday. I didn't get an email. Can you explain what it is?
Well, actually, it was sent to everybody. Michael sent us what we would be looking over in our meeting today. And so I replied to that with an email to everybody. So if you look at Michael's email, or...
Yeah, I didn't.
Did you hit reply?
I hit reply.
You hit reply all?
I sure
okay.
did.
And
it says, hello, Michael. Did you get the message that asked
yes,
you to? So right under that, it says, hello, everyone.
Oh, I see what you said where you said hello, all of you, and addressed it to me. Here, I'm going to go ahead and forward this to everyone.
Well, again, what I just want to do right now is just sort of explain my intention with this bill, so that if there's any more questions that may arise, they can be answered and addressed right now. I don't want to delay action on the intent of the bill any longer. I would like to have a vote on it next week, but today I just want to discuss to you all, let you all know what the intent of the bill is. So, with that being said, the purpose of this bill is to, one, subsidize the amount of well, let me rephrase. The purpose is to offset the cost of the current training fee that UCPD pays right now. So as I understand, our policy states that we can only allocate X amount of dollars for a particular cause. And if I'm not mistaken, that amount is $600. Maybe Lori can expand a little bit more on that in a moment. So that's one thing. The current fee is $4,000 for training. We want to pay at least $600 of that. That will relieve a remainder of about $1,900. And that, at that point, that would be used to go towards organizing some educational awareness campaign to educate the community on the types of training, standards and trainings that police officers receive, periods, that police officers receive. Yeah, I think it's very important. Right now, a lot of community members are not aware, even myself, I was not aware of the type of training that police officers receive. I think it's very important for the community to know that police officers actually do receive training, particularly related to the cultural and racial differences that make up the state of California. Lastly, with this bill, with the INDU, is with that, we want to create pamphlets, about 10,000 pamphlets or brochures that outline best practices. First, it would then let the community know, okay, this is what police officers do. Secondly, it will set forth best practices when dealing with police. For example, don't put your hands in your pocket. Don't make sudden abrupt movements. Be polite. Just simple things that, speaking with the chief here, those simple things can save a life. You gotta keep in mind, law enforcement is here to protect and serve us, and they're not always able to make that quick decision in the manner that they should. So if we are aware of how they're trained, and we are aware of how to deal with officers, I believe that it could solve some of the violence that occurs when community members and law enforcement engage with one another. Lastly, my hope is to then gather around 10,000 signatures on a petition that would ask the state legislature to amend Penal Code 135.4, which relates into the frequency of which officers receive this training. Right now, the current law states that the training is to be conducted every 5 years, and I think that is unacceptable, simply because the economy changes every day. Look at the stock market today. It's down lower than it's been in the last 5 years. That's going to have implications on people in communities, particularly poverty-stricken communities. So naturally, people in these communities have a sense of resentment towards larger structures and organized government. So the best thing we could do is first educate them teach them best practices, and then ask our state legislature to make a move to amend the current penal code. I'm only wanting 3 years, and I think 3 years is a good enough time to capture the changes, the trends and changes that happen in the communities. With that amendment, the increase would then, over a 12-year period, keep in mind that 5 years over a 12-year period, officers have only received 2 trainings. However, if we ask the state legislature to amend to every 3 years over a 12-year period, that would be 4 trainings, representing a 50% increase in frequency. That's very important because things change in the community. And so that's pretty much what my objective is. It's 3-part, it's straightforward. The majority of the funds, $600 will be allocated to embassy consulting services. They are the post-certified training organization that our PD here uses. And just one note, I want to just go on the record and commend our chief, Mike Lane, because the law requires 5 years. However, he's having our officers trained every 2 years. So he is definitely in support of this. I'm getting support from the city of Riverside, who actually does it every 1 year, which is good. But that's not enough. Riverside is okay. So what I like to do is let Riverside be the model for the rest of the state. So this bill would accomplish so much with such little means, but the symbolic portion of it is what I'm going for. Education, awareness, and collaboration. We need our community aware, and our officers need to be aware of our community, and that is our responsibility here as elected officials.
Are there any points to that? Floor is open entirely to Senate. Okay. Is there anyone from the gallery as well? I can extend this to the entire floor. Okay, seeing that, we look forward to seeing the bill coming in through next Wednesday, hopefully. Outside of that, thank you very much for presenting, Senator. Okay, moving on with our agenda, we will now hear on public comment, section J.
Collaboration.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, now, on a, here I am. On another note, I have discovered through a lot of conversation with many students, a few of them represented in our audience here tonight, and including myself. Right, you consult yourself, right? Yeah, that's a good thing to do. But what I'm looking to do is do some type of case study or investigation or conduct some type of research to find out how many professors here on our campus assign their book as required text for students to read. There are many reasons why, but I think the most obvious reason is students already pay fees to go to school. Our professors are here to teach us their opinion and how their opinion was formulated. And I don't think that we should have to buy a book to learn their book, to learn how their opinion was formulated. That information should be shared with us already. That's what they're there to do, to lecture us. These books are very phenomenal, very, very expensive. A couple of books I've seen so far, 60, 70, 80 bucks. And what I want to find out is, if the students were not purchasing those books, would those sales look the same? So I want to find out who's assigning the books. I want to contact the publisher, compare that to the students that are enrolled to that class. So for example, if there was 50 students in this class and the book sales were 50, then we know that the sale of the books rely solely on the student's purchase. And at that point, that's a surcharge that's in addition to our tuition. So I want some help on that. Whoever wants to help me, let me know. I want to look at the poli-sci department, and there are a couple of religious studies courses that I want to look at as well. So I want to look at fall 14 and look at, again, winter 15, and just get some data, because hopefully we find that, you know, it's not that the students are the bulk of the purchasers. It's just one of those things. It's a great book. But then again, on that, I would like to, you know, if we do find that the purchases are solely related to the students that are enrolled, then I would like us to really think about a proactive way that we can go about addressing this at a higher level, because asking for prohibition is out of our purview, but we can raise concern over the issues. Thank you.
Vice President of External Affairs, Abraham Nopal.
Yeah, to add Delaney's on here, because I know she made like a lot of really great points, both in, I guess, favor of this idea and also kind of like things that we should take in consideration as we move forward. But I would definitely say that I agree with that concept. I think, as Delaney pointed out, there are very like reasonable reasons why some professors would have you like buy their books. Like specifically, I would say probably like in areas where like they have made very like recent contributions to the field or something like that, you know. But at the same time, I think a lot of times for students it's very obvious when professors are having you buy their books because of that reason, and when professors are having you buy their books because they just want to sell more books. I do think that that's like a big issue. Specifically, I've heard from a lot of students in regards to when like professors are editors or part of like contributors to one book, and that book like just suddenly happens to come out with a new edition of just things rearranged for the next year, and all of a sudden you have to buy the new edition. The campus store will not buy back your old edition because they're selling the new editions. So that's one of the cases that I've heard a lot. So I mean, I would say it's definitely something worth looking into, and I think a lot of students would appreciate that. But we should also at the same time keep in mind a lot of, I would say, the things that, like, for example, Delaney shared with us in her email.
Just to further expand, the purpose is just to find out. Like, I do agree that some professors do contribute new knowledge to the field, yes. But then again, that knowledge should be shared. Like, if it should be shared, we shouldn't have to pay for the knowledge. But I agree that I do want to look into it. I want to hold a public forum. I want to have public comment. I want to invite the professors out to speak on their behalf. I want to invite students to speak on their behalf. I just want to get some answers. I want to know numbers. I want to know if this enrollment of students match the book sales. And if that's so, what we can do going forward.
Thank you, Keith, for bringing this up. And I have to agree with a lot with Abe and what Delaney brought up. Recently, especially Professor Navarro, who's in the Ethnic Studies Department, he specifically, actually, he makes you purchase his book and he writes it, but he does give an explanation as to why. First off, he won't find any material that he's covered specifically that's been covered the same exact way, or anything that's lead into the theories that he's been talking about. So that's why he makes you buy his book. Secondly, you also have to look at the publisher. What he makes 25 cents off every book he sells. It's not profitable for him to try to force you to actually purchase the book. So there are cases like that exist, and that's especially true for a lot of professors here. So I'm glad that you're taking the initiative, but also like keep in mind that like they don't make a whole lot of profit. That's just like some don't make a lot of profit with the entire campus. So just consult the academic faculty and really kind of see which ones are profiting, which ones should share their knowledge, and which ones are requiring you to read their text, because it will inform you even more, because there's only so many hours in a lecture. So you also need the supplemental knowledge as well.
Thank you for that feedback. And again, the purpose is, of course, we want to learn. We want to know new information. The purpose is first, 50 cents is a profit, whether it's a large profit or not. But it definitely is a profit. My thing is, are we pupils or customers? So I want to find out. I just need to find out, period.
Actually, Senator Kimbrell, if I can weigh in a little bit, because when I was looking into it, I know that there are differences when it comes to like how it's broken down by college. For instance, like in the natural sciences or in engineering, the professors often have very precise material that's being covered. An entire lecture series will be based on a very technical thing, that it could be that their textbook is the thing that covers it. But in places that are like less exact, like the humanities, I know that it's not, it's their own worldview. And the second thing I saw that was more indicative was, is there a problem with like a lot of professors need to publish to get tenure, and that's something I suppose that kind of is indicative of like why they sell the books to the students, because they publish it to have people like there's like a certain minimum of sales to show quality. So
I think this is a very interesting point because from my experience in BCOE, and I'm sure everybody else that's can attest to this, is that oftentimes professors don't assign their own textbook, and at that, they don't care about editions. So although the required text would be, for example, the 8th or 9th edition, if you ask them, oh, can you use the 6th or 7th, they're completely fine with that, and they'll even put up the problems from the newest edition. They don't care, which I think is very interesting, because I've never had a professor say, you need the 9th edition of this textbook. They'll say, oh yeah, you can use the 8th edition, whatever, just the numbers are different. Or the solution manual is different, or whatever. So I think this is a really interesting point. Let's put that out there. Sorry.
Also, to provide a little bit of input, I know that if you had these type of restrictions and you wanted to propose this to, it would have to go through Academic Senate, and I know that it would also have to go through Educational Policy, and sitting on that committee, I know that they would say something along the lines of, I'm assuming that they would say something along the lines of, it may be restricting for professors in a way that might not allow us to, as our school grows, to get more, as we get more professors, to not get professors that will want to come to our school because they will want to share their new books with the campus. And so that might be one of the arguments that you might face. And then also, along the lines of idea, I would love to collaborate with you on this because bringing up the fact that students do pay so much for books, we could provide resources on campus to help with books just in general, because students do pay a lot for books, and so I would love to collaborate with you.
Okay, if there were any more points that the senators would like to make, okay. Seeing none, we can move on with our agenda. Next, Section J, we have public comment for members in the galley that wish to address anything that's been said during this meeting on collaboration or committee reports. Please step forward, let us know your thoughts, things you'd like to say. Simply just state your name for the minute purposes.
Hello everybody, happy Wednesday. For all of you who don't know me, my name is Danny, and I'm the campus organizer for CalPERG here at UCR. A little bit quick bio on myself. I just graduated from the University of Vermont last year, 2014, and I'm really excited to be working with GCAP and Fernando on our water conservation campaign. Really excited about the campaign work we're doing. I just wanted to provide a really quick few updates as well. I'm really new to Senate meetings, so I accidentally didn't talk when I think I was supposed to talk in the beginning. So I'm going to use this opportunity now to say what I was hoping to say very briefly. Some quick victories for CalPERG this year. All student-directed wins. We had 3. 1, we banned plastic bags from the state of California. 2, that was started by a student her freshman year in 2010 at UCLA. We also banned over 6 toxic chemicals out of children's products, including BPA, to prevent cancer and other illnesses from Californian families. That was started by a freshman student at UC San Diego in 2012. And we also passed a new bill that's going to get 1 million clean electric powered vehicles on the road by 2020. Specifically using cap and trade money and giving it to low-income families earning less than $30,000 a year to invest in these vehicles. Some other things also. Wanted to give an update about the campaigns we're running this quarter. I'm really excited to introduce to you, Akeem, as well. We, CalPERG across the state, the student board decided to launch a new campaign here on the West Coast, which is called our Open Textbook Campaign. Textbook affordability campaign. Many of the PERG chapters on the East Coast have been working on this campaign for over a decade. What this campaign entails is offering free online textbooks that professors endorse. Once students pay their tuition, many faculty will offer open online textbooks, a perfect solution for the textbook affordability issue. Specifically, Boston University offers, I believe, over 100 professors offer free online textbooks for their students once they pay tuition. So here at UCR, we're launching that campaign, hoping to get 5 faculty members to use open textbooks by the end of this quarter alone. Our other campaign, water conservation, our solar campaign, working to increase solar energy across the state of California in many cities. We're experiencing the worst drought in California history. Already since the beginning of 2014, 10,000 individuals have lost their jobs in the Central Valley due to the drought. and we hope to alleviate this issue. Our fourth campaign, the state board, as you I'm sure may know, each CalPERS chapter has a board of 3 to 4 students. They decide each year where our budget goes and what issues we work on, and lawyers and lobbyists and organizers that we hire. This year, because all of our bills passed through state legislators, they decided to use our money to hire a team of lawyers and lobbyists to work on stopping the overuse of antibiotics in factory farms. Last year, 23,000 individuals in California passed away due to antibiotic-resistant infections, things like ear infections, where people cannot be counting on their antibiotics anymore. It's a huge public health concern that affects everybody from vegans to meatitarians. I also just wanted to give a little update on our numbers. So since the beginning of this year, when I first started working at UCR, we've already recruited 1,400
plus. Please.
Oh, no problem. We already recruited over 1,400 UCR students to sign up with CalPERS as volunteers. And we have also offered, we have 31 interns on our campus team this year. And we would be happy, we have over 5 interns on our textbook affordability campaign team, and I'm sure several of them would be happy to work with you to find out that research, because I agree that is an issue that there are many professors who are requiring their students to buy up to 4 of their published books. And so we, CalPERS students, do decide that that's an issue. And again, thank you guys so much, and I'm really looking forward to working with all of you and meeting with you individually, and thank you for all your work.
Wait, can you remain just one
Yeah, like I'm really good.
Oh, no worries. I think that
I have a question. So I was wondering if you all received any updates from housing in regards to the water usage in Pentland, because I know that that was one of the big things that was like being highlighted on social media of like how much water, like, it's not, I mean, I don't want to say wasted, but I want to say wasted.
Please say wasted.
At Pentland Hills. Because I know like during the summer, like I even like, I don't know, I like posted like a tweet or something like and told them about it, and they said they were like fixing it. But then I know that this year, like I saw a lot of things that you all were posting on social media about like water like running everywhere all the time from the sprinklers in Pentland Hills or whatnot. So I just wanted to find out if you all got any update on that, because I know that that was something that seemed really interesting to me, and I think would be really beneficial for to be worked on. So.
Absolutely. So we have received many updates since last time we talked, Abraham. First of all, I found out something that was really unusual for here at UCR. So I'm sure all of you know that the president of the UC system pledged that every UC was going to decrease water consumption by 20% by 2020. The majority of all the UCs, actually every UC in the state besides us, receives their water from the Sierra Nevada watershed. Here, we receive our water from the Santa Ana rivershed. So we actually have the cheapest water out of anywhere in the state. For every penny UCR spends, we get 1,000 gallons of water. So the reason why water is being wasted is because it's so cheap. And so for them to fix the infrastructure would cost way more money than decreasing their water consumption. So that was one of the issues that we're running into. We did meet, CalPERS students and we met with the administration, and we told them about this issue, and they said that if we could document that there was water being wasted and there were broken sprinklers, because they are unaware of the issue, I met with them and the Office of Sustainability, and there were some of the campus planners who were unaware of this issue. And they said if we could document this issue by taking photo petitions in the evening between 10 and 12 p.m., that they would change it. And we've been, I'm sure you can imagine, setting up tables at 10 to 12 o'clock at night by the dorms has been largely unsuccessful. So we did our best. We did our best. Didn't work so well. So we dropped that. So what we're doing is we're going to be mimicking UC Irvine system. At UC Irvine, they have a system where if a student sees a broken sprinkler, they can text and call a phone number, and the grounds or physical plant will go and fix it within 72 hours. And where 50% of all the water here at UCR is consumed on our grass, that if we could fix the broken sprinklers, like I'm sure we've all seen at AI or Pentland, We, just by fixing the sprinklers, which is the most economically feasible way of here at UCR fixing the water system instead of fixing or changing the toilets or the shower heads or our labs, just by fixing the pre-existing infrastructure that we have right now is going to be the cheapest and easiest way for us at UCR to decrease our water consumption by 20% by 2020.
Senator Key, that question.
I just wanted to know if you would leave your information so I can contact you.
I would absolutely love to. Would you like to tell me now, or I could leave it with
Could you leave
Baldwin?
All right, that's good.
Yes. Baldwin will be staying towards the end. I'm going to go check on my piggy bank upstairs.
Thank you.
Yes. Absolutely.
Okay. If there are no more questions, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes.
I just wanted to offer to partner with you if you're interested on the mental health publications and also activities that you talked about. So if you're interested in partnering, there's a student wellness partner meeting tomorrow, and I'd be happy to raise it or come meet with whoever's interested or offer support, whatever we can do. And then can I talk about things that you haven't talked about?
Certainly, yeah.
I just wanted to extend an invitation, and I think Summer and Reem would probably, and probably Colette too, would join me in extending this invitation that next Wednesday, I know you're all going to be here at night, but during the afternoon, 11 to 1, we have a consultant coming to campus from a group called We End Violence. And there's a focused training for student leaders about recognizing and intervening as leaders to try to change our culture to one where sexual violence doesn't happen. And we're going to be, it's an invitation only, but I'm extending an invitation to all of you. And if you're interested, you would RSVP to Humberto Santiago, who's in the well, or to me. And lunch will be provided, and it will be in Hub 302. So it starts at 11, it ends at 1, and it's a workshop with these outside consultants and the web. And then the last thing is our student regents are going to be, the student regent designate are visiting campus in early February. And they've asked for a particular kind of schedule where they would meet with students from students of color and mostly connected to our ethnic and gender programs. But they also would like to meet with student leaders from GSA and ASUCR. And their interest is in trying to get as many students as possible to think seriously about applying to be student regent, and then also to do representation as regents to hear what your needs and concerns are so that they can bring them back to the regents. So I'd like to collaborate with you in shaping that visit the way that Sadia and Ari are asking. But I also wanted to just ask if I can send an invite to you and collaborate with the appropriate person so that we can find the best time for you during the day.
Yeah, Susan, so I saw Avi this weekend actually, and he talked to us at UCSA about his meetings, his campus visits. I would definitely love to collaborate with you. I want to have, hopefully if they're available and if anyone has works, I want to have like an open forum for the student regents to hear from students on our campus, because I know that's not something that they usually do. I want to have some type of open forum. That would be great if we could collaborate on something like that, and then
I'll get in touch with you. That would be awesome. Last year I did this with Kareem, and it would be awesome if you did this with me. Thank you.
Is there anyone else from the public that wishes to come forward?
Yeah, I'm not going to go forward because I didn't want to follow Danny's energy. I couldn't match it. I just wanted to wish everybody a Happy New Year. Hope everybody had a wonderful winter break, and I look forward to continuing our work throughout the remainder of the summer. One observation from fall quarter is that I've been reflecting on the number of you that I've been working with, and that we've been working with in student affairs, and I have to say that by far, this is the most active ASUCR that I've encountered. for quite some time. All positive, all good. And I just wanted to say that we appreciate the initiatives that you've been coming up with, and although I think we're starting to get impacted, if there's any new ideas that come up for the remainder of this academic year, we're certainly open to it. And one of the commitments that we have within student affairs that I want to make sure is understood is that we understand that many of the initiatives that you're undertaking are ones that are that your intention is to have them continue beyond your time in the Senate. We're committed to maintaining the continuity on your behalf. And we talked earlier about the bridge between Senate this year, Senate the following year, and that's going to be one of the keys to making sure we can preserve the momentum on many important initiatives.
Great, thank you so much, Vice Chancellor. Okay.
Can I comment on different, on one of the reports? Yes? Okay. Just a question. Sorry, not aloud. A question for Fernanda, or kind of comment. So in regards to the expanding Wi-Fi for students, I was wondering also if there's a possibility for creating Wi-Fi for guests, because I know there isn't a guest login, I think, for UCR, and whenever I'm at the welcome desk, I often hear guest complaints about no Wi-Fi on campus tours or just visiting conferences. And so possibly using that increased student tech fee or that Wi-Fi expansion for guests could be a really good option for UCR, I would think, but it's up to you. I don't know, that's a possibility.
Jackie, I think that's actually a great idea for the new use. I know UCI and UCSC, they have different Wi-Fi. They have something called CruiseNet.
Right.
UCI has something else, and they're all guest portals.
Right.
So I think that would be really good. EDU Roam's good because it allows any UC student to kind of go in, but we definitely need a guest system. So I think I'll bring that up to the Student Tech Fee Committee, and then if you'd like to join us, we'll also give you the information for that.
Cool.
So while we're discussing reports and stuff, I was gonna ask about the rec governing board. So there's a problem that so I play a lot of basketball. Okay? So the problem is at the old rec there's 3 basketball courts, and at the new rec there's only 1 basketball court. And so the thing is, players will need to go back and forth, or people will need to transfer between the gyms. Some people will play basketball or use the multi-purpose rooms, and then they'll go around to work out at the new gym. But the thing is, they have to go all the way up the hill, and then all the way around Linden, and then back to the gym. So I was gonna say, is there a way that I know they're working on connecting the buildings? I know they're permanently working on connecting the buildings, but is there a way that, because a lot of people just sneak through the back door, but is there a way that they can just have an ID check there maybe, so that people could actually just go back and forth between the recs instead of having to go all the way around?
Everybody knows.
Thank you for helping me get in this.
I'm building a bridge.
Please letting them know now.
So basically, you're asking me to create a scheme to minimize your exercise. Just kidding. So it's actually an issue that was discussed very extensively during the design process, knowing that we wouldn't have the access to the facility in manners that were the most convenient. In that we're right at the brink of the completion of the project, I can pretty much guarantee that we're not going to be able to make an adjustment right now. But if I hear your one suggestion, which I can take back to Lindy, is that we try to have people at those doors, and that of course represents a staffing issue. So we'll bring it up, but I think what I'm more focused on is the fact that the rec center is going to be fully open. The south building will be open in March. We'll look into it.
Cool.
In the meantime, enjoy the walk. It's kind of like the whole parking situation, the complaints we get because we have to walk to the gym. Well, aren't you going there to exercise? That's just cold.
Okay. Great. Okay. If there are no more public comments, I'd like to move on. We can continue on section K, roundtable and announcements. I'll begin from my left, work around to my right. So we can start.
Oh, starting here? Yeah.
Yes, just starting.
Oh no.
Do you want me to?
Can you start on the other side?
Yeah. Okay. I'll give you a minute to gather. Starting on the right side, Senator Jason Ramirez.
All right. just briefly, I'm kind of brain dead. It's been a long week, but I just wanted to clarify that Project DTR is a collaboration between Colette, Jessica, and myself. And also, for whatever reason, I'll see you all next Wednesday, or these following week. Have a good week, and I'll see you all next Wednesday. Have a good weekend.
Hi everyone, welcome back. I wanted to thank Susan for bringing up the weekend violence. I strongly recommend everyone on this course should go to that, and I hope to see you all there. And I wanted to bring up that I'm working on the What Would You Do video series, which will be a project that will allow for students to visually see how other students react to things such as like sexual harassment, substance abuse, and like littering on our campus and other environmental issues. And so it'd all be acting with the actors' consent to act out these scenarios. And we would obviously be using not actual substances that would that are not allowed on campus, but representations of them that would be very similar. And so I was wondering if any of you wanted to act in it, if you knew anyone who would like to act in it or help with this project. I would love that, and it's mostly to bring light of bystander intervention to our campus, and so I would love your help with that. Oh, and I also wanted to, I'm going to be putting up like a calendar in the office so that we can all know exactly, because we have so many dates to keep track of. So for our projects, if these projects have certain dates or certain events are happening that you would like other senators to know about, just to put it on that so that we can all keep in touch with each other more easily.
Great, thank you so much.
Nothing to report other than have a nice week.
Yay!
Okay. Senator Richard. Pass. Senator Christian Argon. Pass. Senator Hebron.
I cannot pass. Yeah, again, I'm happy to be back here doing some work. Let's roll up our sleeves and sort of build off the momentum that we have set forth last quarter. A few more things. The MLK March, again, is tomorrow. I believe it's at the Bell Tower, commences around noon. There will be a march down MLK to Park Avenue Baptist Church. There will be some spoken words and some events taking place inside the church, after which students will come back. I believe they're also providing a shuttle, because it'll be dark, so that's very good. Another thing is that 2015, the superpowers, well, back in 2012, 2011, 2010, more than 5 years ago, the G8 superpowers signed a deal that they would reduce carbon emissions by 30%. That went into effect the first of this year. So we can start to see our carbon emissions be reduced. That is a positive step towards environmental sustainability and promoting environmental justice. So I just want you all to be aware of that because it's important. The environment is often overlooked, and we need to protect our environment as we go forth and grow as a society. Our environment is something that we will need to continue to sustain us, so we need to sustain it. So I just want to make you all aware that 30% carbon emission reductions is probably why you see a lower price at the gas pump. So again, thank you all for being great. Thank you all for putting up with me. Thank you all for just wanting to do better for yourselves and everybody else.
Personnel Director.
Hi everyone. Wait. Sorry, I don't want to interrupt you. Oh. Okay.
So I was able to meet with most of the senators last quarter with Michael while he was doing his one-on-ones, and I got some great feedback on your satisfaction with your committee placement. And I was able to get that information to the committee chairs and share with them and discuss with them what needs to be changed. For those of you that I was not able to meet with, I sent out an online survey in early December. So it'd be really great if you didn't meet with me and Michael. If you could fill out that survey online, it's like between 5 to 10 questions. It'll take you about 5 minutes to do. And it's very helpful for me and for the committee chairs. It's the same survey that I sent out to every student that I placed on committees during my term, and I found it to be very helpful as I've received about 70 responses so far. So if senators who have not submitted their survey to me could do that, that'd be great. It's probably way back in your email about December 5th. So thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ashley. Our Director Jessica Kivitz.
Hello, everyone had a great winter break. Just wanted to wish everyone a late happy holidays and happy new year. But for Chicano student programs, we have a lot of events that we're hoping to get co-sponsored. So it's an opportunity for ASUCR to co-sponsor events. Some particular events that I wanted to point out was Noche Cultura, which is Saturday, January 24th. It's a great night. A lot of people come out. We have visitors from Arizona that drive all the way out here for this one night. We have visitors from Mexico, like all visiting Texas, everywhere. They drive out just to see this performance, different performances and things like that. We also have Juegos de Aztlán, which is a bowling tournament. So every quarter we have a tournament. I don't know if y'all remember, but last spring I asked ASUCR to make a softball team, but that didn't really work out. But if y'all want to go bowling, you can make a team. And that'll take place Friday, February 6th, and it'll be from 10:30 to midnight. It's going to be cosmic bowling. I would really be excited to see y'all go against the Raza Assembly team, because I don't know if y'all win. But other than that, we have our Adelante series. We have our Thomas Rivera Conference. We have several committees. We have amazing events that are coming up in programs. Like I said, we're looking to get co-sponsored. So if you can just take your time to go into Chicano student programs or any other programs. I know everyone has their events and they're looking to collab and get support from their student government. But the committees that we have for upcoming events, we have 3 specific committees. One for Semana de Mujer, which is the Week of the Woman. Their meetings are on Thursday from 2 to 3. We also have the Chicano Latino Youth Conference committee meetings on Fridays from 3 to 4. And then we have our Raza Grad on Thursdays from 4 to 1. Thank you, and I invite you all to go to the meetings.
Great, thank you, Jessica. Elections Director Steph. President Pro Tem Gordon Plaza. Vice President of Finance Ira Shea. President Afi Correa.
If you're interested in campus beautification, especially if you're passionate about campus beautification, please let me know as soon as possible.
So, yeah.
All of us, hopefully, right?
Yes, you'll be lawn mowing.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Vice President Steph.
Yeah, just two quick things. Okay, so first off, my labor officer applications are still open. They'll be open until Monday at 5 p.m. So if anybody's interested in that, and then our external affairs executive committee meetings will be Thursdays at 2 p.m. Well, 2:10 p.m. to 3. So if you want to come out, you can come out and visit. That's it.
Great, thank you, Abraham. Vice President of Campus Internal Affairs, Fernando.
Regarding the MLK March tomorrow, I urge you, if you cannot volunteer, please participate. It's very important for you to participate, but if not, please volunteer too, because they really need a lot of people power, and they've been requesting ASUCR support. They've talked to pretty much the entire ECAP, so make sure that you go out and support. And then if you need their contact info, just talk to me after the meeting. Summer, I'll market your idea to the rest of the theater folk to make sure that you have some actors for your thing. And then Jessica, talk to Olivia Bocanegra for the Events and Affairs Committee, and then we'll help you co-sponsor the ASUCR. And also, if you're interested in Higher Education Food Summit, that's this weekend. So if you're interested in sustainable practice with food, anything that's regarding the Food Summit, that's this weekend in Santa Barbara. So I'm pretty sure there's a UCR carpool, so if you want more information regarding that, contact me as well.
Will there be free food?
There will be free food.
Alright, thanks. Marketing Director Beaver Top.
Yeah, real quick, I'm sorry if during my report I didn't mention all the senators for every project. I was just kind of going off of whoever I last contacted, so I apologize for that. Next, can I get the sheet with the tabling signups as well? Hopefully that's
Oh,
around
sorry.
everywhere. Or if it hasn't and you'd like to table. Okay, not a problem. Just right after, it's Thursday and Friday, 12 to 2. If you can table during any of those times, that would be awesome. Once again, please come to me if you're planning any events, even if you don't have any dates, if this is just a thought in your head, just come talk to me and at least we can start planning it. And also, Colette and I were talking about this today, and it's really funny. We were talking about if ASUCR had a Snapchat, or what we would make a Snapchat for. And so Danny just mentioned this water sprinkler thing. So Danny or Baldwin, if one of you are around after the Senate meeting, I'd really like to talk about maybe we can make a Snapchat and encourage students to send a Snapchat to our account when there's broken sprinklers or things like that, and we can get a record of it. So yeah.
Yay! Collaboration.
We probably have to screenshot that Snapchat to keep a record.
Yes, that screenshot.
But thank you. That sounds great. Senator Herman second.
Yeah, I don't have much of an announcement besides let's try to be very proactive this quarter. We all have a lot of projects, let's get work done. And secondly, as an SI leader, it's never too early to start studying, so make sure to keep those grades up.
We are students first. Senator Rebley.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome back. It's nice to see all your faces again. I had a few announcements on behalf of the Middle Eastern Student Center. We're having our NESC Cafe on Wednesday, January 21st from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. in Hub 269. That's where the NESC is located. On Wednesday, January 28th from 8 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. in Hub 302 South. There's going to be a lecture called Stop the Crisis, like ISIS, like ISIS, Stop the Crisis, okay. And then there is a benefit concert for Dani Ramadan. He's the son of our Arabic professor here at UCR who passed away this summer. He was a really talented musician who graduated from Cal State University, San Bernardino. So if you're interested in going there, I would definitely be appreciative of that, and I'm sure our professor would too. It's on Friday, January 31st at 6 p.m. in Cal State San Bernardino at the Santos Manuel Student Union. And then lastly, the leadership conference is coming up. The deadline to sign up, as Ruby mentioned, thank you, is January the 16th, and you can sign up. There's been mass emails sent out by Student Life, but if you go to go.ucr.edu/leadership, that's where you can sign up. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Senator Davian Escobedo. Senator Priscilla Perret.
Hi everyone, it's nice to see you all again. Kind of just feeding off of what everyone's been saying, like I'm excited to start off this quarter with that momentum and then us become more community oriented. Summer, you mentioned that you were gonna maybe start with a calendar with all these dates that people's projects are happening and different events. Yeah, I would really push for that because there's been a lot just been going on in this meeting. So kind of losing track of it already. So that's pretty cool to have. Yeah.
Awesome. Senator Samuel.
Yeah, on behalf of the Health Professions Advising Center, we have multiple workshops throughout the winter quarter for anybody interested in any kind of health profession, nursing, medical school, pharmacy, dental. Tomorrow we have our first ever interviewing workshop where they practice like mini interviews, like group interviews. So that's very useful in case anybody knows anybody who's interested in that. I sincerely ask you to tell them to come out. We're located at Pierce at the end of the building, so please come by to that. We have information on the new MCAT for 2015 and also a summer internship program. So I really appreciate if people came out to those workshops.
Great, thank you. Senator Jackie Jacoby.
Hi y'all, happy Wednesday, happy New Year. I have 5 bullet points here to go through. My first bullet point is the Meet ASUCR event, hopefully taking place week 4, Wednesday, it's 28th, in the Hub Plaza with hopefully free pizza and soda and a chance to interact with students, expressing their own concerns regarding campus policies or complaints, just like meeting us, finding out more about what ASUCR does. Bullet point number 2, I'm working on video campaign for Stephanie Rose for the Elections Committee, creating 2 videos, how to run in elections and then after elections, and then once you're in elections, how that whole process works. 3rd bullet point, making a video for Summer Schaefer, or videos for her What Would You Do bystander behavior series, in regards to bystanders for like sexual assault, substance abuse, and numerous other things. I'm also working this quarter with CalPERG leadership on drafting a referendum to hopefully move from their pledging process, asking for $10 per student per quarter, instead to an automated student fee through GROW each year. So a much, much lower fee that all students would contribute to. And then my last bullet point is Fernando, shout out, you're doing an awesome job. Your report was like so thorough and impressive, I was just not worthy of anything. So you're doing awesome, great job, keep it up. Everyone's doing great. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Jeff.
Oh, Shabbats are going to happen Fridays, like just like the last 2,000 years. Friday night, sunset. Not going to change anytime soon. Hillel's going to have them throughout the quarter, Friday nights. Be on the lookout for my group me chats and my posts on Facebook about them. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Senator Fleck.
Yes, I encourage everyone to go to the Shabbat. It was very fun the last time I went. Yes, so with that said, I have an announcement for February 6th. It's the Stain of Denial, and it will be a silent protest put on by ASA, the Armenian Student Association, to educate the greater community about the Armenian genocide. This will be happening on a majority of UC campuses. Also, this is a way of ways, and this isn't even in this quarter, but April 24th does mark the 100th year of the Armenian genocide. So the ASA will be putting in a lot of events to help educate the community about that as well. And that is all.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, sorry, so mine was in response to Jackie. So if y'all remember, I kind of did something similar to what Fernando did during fall, as to like everything that I did during the summer. So I was wondering, like, I wanted to get like a general feel on Senate as to like if that's something that you all would be interested in seeing, like the rest of us on ECAP too. I think it would be really great. I know I did it during the summer. I didn't do it this quarter because I didn't know if we wanted to do reports anymore. But if that's the case, I think I could definitely put one together for the next meeting and just kind of debrief you all on everything that we did during the fall, and maybe the other ECAP members can also do likewise or not. Yeah, great.
To add to that, I actually like the reporting idea.
Great.
But if we could get the report prior to the meeting and then in your delivery in the meeting summarize, that would be cool. Because I think the reason why we stopped the reports in the first place because it took so long. So if we could, that would be great. The campus community needs to know what's going on, etc. So.
All right, sounds good. Moving on to our next section of the agenda, we do have a closed session. So it's at this time that I would like to thank the galley for coming out to our Senate meeting this evening. We definitely like new speakers to come out and be able to approach us about business, so we thank you for your time. We definitely appreciate that. Everybody have a great night.